Pokemon's 30th celebration lineup has been probably the biggest chaos we've seen this year. And as you're going to see in this video, there is a lot of scalping and price gouging that have been nothing short of shameful for this set. And honestly, I've kind of been waiting to talk about Pokemon's 30th celebration. And I know a lot of you have been asking for my thoughts about it. And I've really taken some time to think about it. And there's just so many things happening right now about the 30th celebration. And so many kind of questions are coming up about this set, whether or not this is even a good set for the hobby. The reality is about the whole 30th celebration, okay? This set has been hyped pretty much since I even started this channel. The whole thing about, when Pokemon cards were dropping in 2024, everyone just said, just wait for the next spike, which would be Pokemon's 30th anniversary. And literally like clockwork, that is exactly what has happened. The hype, the mania, the people scalping product, everything has come to pretty much the highest amount in history for Pokemon's 30th celebration, as a lot of people actually predicted. And it's funny because a lot of things don't always go that way, how people predict, but the 30th celebration has been, in a lot of ways, predicted for a long time that it was going to be this heavily in demand. This many people wanted it. Another thing we have to think about is that yes, Pokemon's 30th anniversary is here, but products and Pokemon cards right now are actually stalling. There seems to be a little bit of a drop in price at the moment. That seems to be very interestingly positioned. Yes, it's the summer lull, but again, what is gonna happen if the 30th celebration releases and then a lot of demand just starts getting weaker from there? Is there a set that's gonna be as hyped as 30th celebration after that? We have the Rayquaza set that's releasing, but honestly, that doesn't really compete with the 30th celebration in terms of popularity. One thing I have to say, and I've been pretty disappointed, I know GameStop in US, I've seen the prices for all the US viewers. They are charging absurd things. But the thing is, GameStop's done that for a while. But that's now hit home with EB Games in Australia. EB Games in Australia has been charging insane prices for the 30th celebration. As an Australian, I just want to show you what we're dealing with as well. So this is a screenshot I have that I took from EB Games. I went in around 40 minutes after they went live. The UPCs both sold out, which by the time I got there was 40 minutes later. But you can see right here that the UPC is selling for 599 Australian dollars. I will put the conversion for you right there so you can see on screen. Now, depending where you are in the world, you might say, oh, that's okay. That's like, every region's got different pricing. For us in Australia, that is insane. That is so high. And what is crazy about this as well is that EB Games have never really been a store to do this. They might have charged 5 or 10% more than retail, whatever. You can put deposits down. They're very good with pre-orders. But to see this, I have to say, this is un-Australian, man. This is so disappointing to see. I've been a fan of EB Games for such a long time. I vouch for them a lot. What I really love about them as well is that when you go into a store, they really carefully hire their staff. So if you go into an EB Games, the point of difference is you can speak to the staff and they know their games. You are speaking to people who are genuinely gamers. If you've got questions about your PS5, about a Nintendo Switch 2, about anything, about any of the merch, you have such great staff that understand that. They really do a good job. So it does do a good experience there. I've always been a big fan of them, but to see this, I have to say, EB Games, man, do better because it's not just us adults that want the product, and there is kids that cannot wait for these sets. And when you do that, you also price out the parents that are thinking, oh, do I want to buy it for them for Christmas? Do I want to buy it for a birthday? A lot of parents will be looking at $600 for a UPC. They would say, hey, maybe $300 or $400 Australian would be somewhere. When you go to those prices, it is really ridiculous. And also, by the way, if you have been enjoying the video, my name's Phil, and I've been creating content around Pokemon cards for over 2.5 years now. Honestly, it's always cool seeing new people on the channel. Feel free to subscribe so you can stay up to date. The first thing I do want to talk about, which is an exciting release for this, is the Elite Trainer Boxes. So here I have the 30th Celebration ETB, and it does come with 9 booster packs. For some reason, specialty sets, we've kind of, ever since like Prismatic Evolutions or even before that, now they come with 9 packs. I remember with Pokemon 151 and Crown Zenith, it was 10 booster packs. I'm not sure why they've now gone really with this 9 pack. That was usually reserved for mainline sets that would get 9 booster packs. Now a lot of the main ETBs also come with 9 packs. It would have been nice to see 10 booster packs in here. But nonetheless, one I really love here is the Need Arena illustration rare. this is a really cool promo, and it does have a bit of a throwback for Nidorina being the 30th Pokemon in the Pokedex. There is a lot of little Easter eggs about the number 30 with the Pokemon 30th celebration. To be honest, it's cool that there is a little bit of those Easter eggs. A lot of people are saying the reason why Moonbryon isn't in there but Magikarp is because there is a 30 on Magikarp's card. I don't know if that's true, but honestly, given how much Pokemon have been kind of squeezing in every little Easter egg about 30, I wouldn't even be surprised to see if that's true. Now also, when buying the 30th celebration, prices are obviously insane, but it's a great idea to be tracking your purchases and all your Pokemon collectibles, and Collector are the best way to do that, who have also kindly sponsored today's video. Now, Collector is a next generation collectible portfolio manager. Why it's so useful is that you can store all your collectible info inside the app, and it also updates all the prices based on the current market. Collector is very user-friendly, and what's so cool is that you can actually separate your portfolios in specific groups. Now, if you do upgrade to Collector Pro, you do get access to the set analytics feature. This lets you dive deep into a set. You can see the market movers in the set, and you can even see which cards are being wishlisted the most. Now, also another benefit of Collector Pro is that you do get the access to the max tab. This lets you expand charts to see pricing data past the 1 year view. I personally love using Collector because I've been able to get pretty much rid of all my spreadsheets, and I have everything organized in the Collector app. Honestly, tracking your collection is very important, and Collector makes that super easy. You can find all the details to download the Collector app in the video's description. A big thanks to them for their continued support. Now let's get back to the video. Though again, of course, they come with booster bundles, and here you can see the Pokemon 30th Celebration booster bundle. Obviously, booster bundles are usually the cheapest entry point you can get. I'm using the word cheapest there very lightly, by the way. They are probably the most price friendly option you can get to opening some packs. Again, 30th Celebration Booster Bundle, a great one if you can get your hands on it. But right now, it does seem it's going to be a very hard set to get your hands on. Though the two products I'd be looking out for is the 30th Celebration Espeon EX and Umbreon EX Battle Decks. We have a gorgeous Victini promo. Really awesome here. Absolutely love this card, man. This looks just so exactly like a mythical Pokemon. And then again, you have Zeraora. I did talk about a previous video that I do feel like I have a bit of Zeraora fatigue. So many Zeraora cards. We also have another promo. Thankfully, this is actually a really cool artwork, but I do feel like it has been, I'm not sure why Pokemon, it kind of feels like it's trying to make fetch happen with Zeraora. I feel like Zeraora was one of those Pokemon that they thought would be really sticky, like Lucario. This is going to be the Pokemon that everyone loves, like it was going to be a Greninja vibe, but it really hasn't stuck that well, and I feel like a lot of people don't really like, I don't know, what's your opinions on Zeraora? Cool Pokemon, I suppose, but in saying that, like the amount of, like, you'd think it's a Charizard with the amount of cards it gets. So I would be looking out for these two products in particular, just because there will be a lot of demand for these. And of course, anytime you get little boxes with unique promos, always really interesting. Again, like I've spoken about before, it does have the 30th stamp on it, though I've also told you my thoughts on that I'm not the biggest fan of the 30th stamp. And I think a lot of people have also, it's a pretty common criticism of it because yes, you got unique cards. We get it for the 30th celebration throwbacks, but literally every card has the 30th stamp, and sure, it's celebrating it, but I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Did it a little bit better, I think, with the 25th anniversary stamp because it was a bit more hidden the way it did it. This is very in your face. Also, if you do want to get updates about Pokemon info, my channel's Discord is a very useful resource. Here you can ask questions and you can even connect with the amazing Pokemon community. The Discord invite is in the video's description. Though, the ones that everyone is looking out for is the 30th Celebration Ultra Premium Collections. What's really interesting about these is they have a day and night theme, both with Espeon and Umbreon, and you get two different futuristic rares of Pikachu, depending which UPC you buy. So here I'm on the Pikachu Day UPC, and it does come with 29 booster packs. So really a lot of booster packs. They're almost close to a booster box, but it does have the Pikachu futuristic rare. This is the day version. And of course you get the Espeon EX special illustration rare. That is such a gorgeous artwork, man. Honestly, what a cool card. But again, the prices of these are absolutely out of this world. One thing I have to say about this though, the futuristic rare of this Pikachu, probably not my favorite. I think from what I saw with the Mew and the Mewtwo looked a bit better. But again, the Espeon, I have to admit, we are lucky that that didn't come in a something that you can just pull from a pack, because that would be an insanely expensive card. But again, it probably still will be, because the only way to get that is from this UPC, and the prices, and they're pretty much all sold out straight away anyway. So that is something to consider as well. And here is the Pikachu Umbreon themed UPC, or the Night version. And you can see the futuristic rare there of Pikachu. Much prefer this one. Really cool futuristic rare. I think this one does a much better job than the day version. That incredible Umbreon special illustration rare. What a gorgeous artwork. Both the Espeon and Umbreon, phenomenal cards, man. These are real S-tier artworks for sure. And again, the price of these are going to be expensive, because the only way to obtain them is with this UPC. And sure, maybe a lot of people are going to be having them. There's going to be a lot of these out there, but at the same time, you do need to fork out insane amounts of money to get this in your hands pretty much. Look, there's a lot that you get with this UPC. There is a lot of value there. The fact that you get 29 booster packs, I really like, because that's a lot of packs. That is, you do get a fantastic opening experience with these. I have to admit, the products and the lineup for the 30th celebration have been pretty much full throttle. Pokemon is redlining it with these. A lot of people are going to be very happy with these. What they're not happy with are the prices of them. And it's crazy to see what Pokemon has become in the last few years. One thing that I did see, and I just want to bring it up because it kind of annoyed me. This was an article that I saw from IGN, which says, Nintendo president says the Pokemon company will take measures to respond to widespread card scalping issues. So this article says that the Nintendo president was actually asked about the scalping issue, and the response was, during which he revealed that Nintendo was aware of the issue and discussed appropriate ways to deliver products to consumers. What I'm really disappointed with this and the whole price gouging things and everything is that we've heard this so many times, and it just feels like lip service at this point. We also got a big notice when Prismatic Evolutions, Pokemon acknowledged the scalping issues, but nothing is done. One of the annoying things about the current internet and the current world is because we have a lot of outrage culture. So we have these things where, and we're all noticing this now, and I've kind of made a bit of a connection point with what's happening. It's really weird because we always have these articles of all these things that are happening, or what happened with Sony, how they're discontinuing physical games, and everyone gets outraged. But the problem is the outrage or the anger or whatever you're feeling or whatever people are feeling, it's probably in the spotlight for 2, 3, 4 days. And then something else comes in the media, and then eventually people forget about it. And the crazy thing is, with the whole way on the internet and how much the social media has changed how much we consume, people now they're not motivated anymore to fight these battles because something new comes up, something more interesting or more crazy comes up, and then you just forget about it. And I feel corporations just now know this, and literally their strategy is just, okay, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Don't worry, in 2-3 weeks, the problem will go away and everyone's going to forget about it. And literally that's what happens. That's why corporations are now doing these crazy things, because no one can be really, we all get outraged. We all go online, but the only way to change any of this, okay, and the only thing that makes any impactful change is voting with your wallet. Now, the problem is with Pokemon cards or anything, or even with what happened with Sony, how they discontinued physical media, which is a massive L for a lot of people, even if you're a digital only gamer. But you can see, I did cover that topic on my other channel, Philip's Trick Room. If you are interested in that, feel free to watch it there. The big problem though that I can see is that we're getting all these things that, yes, we can see the scalping issue and it's always in the spotlight, but the thing is, people just adapt to it and no one really cares, because we are in such a unique period right now in the world where there's a problem, there's an outrage, but then 2 or 3 days later, there's a bigger problem, there's more outrage, 2 or 3 days later, there's a bigger problem, there's more outrage, it goes on and on. And even we saw with that whole Jason Page controversy and how that kind of played out, that lasted a few days and now it's business as usual. This scalping issue, everything that's going on, Pokemon and Nintendo say that, hey, we are going to try deal with the scalping issue. I don't know if I believe that, because we've seen this so many times before. And another thing I just want to mention as well while I'm on this topic is there is one way that you could actually kind of strike this at the source, and it's probably a little bit unpopular, but it is fixing pull rates. If we look at Crown Zenith cards have taken pretty much 3.5 years to get to these extravagant price points. The reason why Crown Zenith cards, the singles, were so affordable for such a long time is because the pull rates were the most generous we've seen pretty much in the last 3 years. You don't need pull rates that difficult. Of course, Pikachu is going to get those price points when Ascended Heroes packs are selling for whatever they're selling for, and then the chance to pull the Pikachu from a specific pack is ridiculously difficult. Fixing pull rates is a massive way to make a lot of the prices of singles come down as well, because they're not going to be able to fetch those price points if they're very common. A good example was the Crown Zenith Pikachu. Before that released, everyone already predicted that was going to be a card worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. When that released, that card was selling for like 15 USD. I think it even went down to like 6 or 7 USD. And that's because the pull rates were so generous. And that is a big way you can kind of fix this at the source. And yeah, look, I have to admit that I am a bit frustrated with, this is just even more than this. I just feel like corporations are just doing us so badly lately, man. Like, and I feel like they've all just realized, just let it pass. That's literally just let the news pass. Oh, it's okay. Give it 2 or 3 days. Give it a week. It's going to pass. And that's literally no one, the complaining online, unfortunately, changes nothing. It's just a bit of bad press. It's a little bit of a bad vibe. Like, oh, okay, we see what's going on, but it changes absolutely nothing. The only thing that changes anything is when shareholders see that, hey, we're not making profits for this quarter. Hey, that's literally the only way anything changes. Even with YouTubers that love making content around drama or problems, even if you hate that YouTuber and you're commenting, as long as they're seeing their YouTube subscriber count go up, they're seeing their revenue go up, and they're seeing their viewership go up, they're just seeing green signals in their back end. And that's the same thing with all these corporations and everything as well. They just see green when they come to their bottom dollar. As long as they can see that's going up, hey, guess what? No complaining. None of the outrage matters at all. It only matters where you spend your money. The only way that these meaningful changes happen is when some kind of change happens where these corporations don't squeeze us for every dime and dollar that we have, because the people kind of make that decision. But it is also crazy to see that Pokemon cannot keep up with printing demand, and they're just releasing set after set after set after set. It's like, wait, man, like, you do need to also think of the consumers and have a little bit of integrity as well, because at this point, you are really taking everyone for a ride with releasing crazy sets, charging whatever you want to charge, understanding that there's a scalping issue, but then also being a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing, because you're kind of acting like you're this good guy in the back end and acting like, hey, we're here, we're doing this, but really your pull rates are absolutely ridiculous. There's issues that you can't get product, and instead of you're pumping sets out in such small time frames that you're causing all these problems, but yet you're just acting like, hey, this all comes down to the scalpers. Well, they're part of the problem, but also, hey, listen, it's also part of the source, man. It's also part of the fact that you are releasing set after set after set after set and not leaving enough breathing room when you can see there's a legitimate issue, and you're kind of playing the good guy consistently. And I'm getting a bit frustrated with it because I can see so many people are just complaining, but I also think that the anger and the outrage is getting pointed towards the scalpers and getting pointed to this. But why does no one ever question, hey, why are pull rates so difficult? Why does no one ever question, hey, why are you releasing another set so soon after one after another when you can see that a lot of people still want Destined Rivals? And that's still today, people want Destined Rivals. It released pretty much a year ago. You do have a bit of a responsibility to slow down releases, fix pull rates, and make sure that people can get their hands on product. And even if someone says, oh, but Pokemon's always released sets that quickly, well, guess what? We're in a different era right now. We probably could have done without a lot of sets. We probably could have missed out on a few sets, and Ascended Heroes got more print runs, Destined Rivals got more print runs, and so forth. So definitely, I just wanted to send a clear message to all my viewers. Hey, listen, I get if you're outraged and you want to blame the scalpers and you want to point fingers at everyone, but you also have to take a good hard look at the facts, and that is pull rates are difficult. We're getting all these kind of like messaging from companies saying, yes, we noticed the problem. We noticed the problem. Oh, yes, we acknowledge the problem, but nothing gets changed. But really, with all this thing said, I do think the 30th celebration is going to be a very interesting set. Though with the 30th celebration, a lot of collectors are wondering if there will be some sort of big price crash. And I do have a bit of a unique prediction about that, and you can see that all in this video on screen here. In this video, I go deep into the biggest predictions I have for Pokemon cards in 2026. Honestly, if you love this video and you want to learn more about that, click the video on screen. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you there.